As we grow older, our bodies and minds go through significant changes, and at the age of 75, it's important to adapt to these shifts in order to maintain a healthy and fulfilling life. While many people may continue their previous habits without considering their impact, there are certain things that should be stopped or reevaluated at this stage in life. The choices we make in our later years play a crucial role in our overall well-being, and prioritizing our health, comfort, and happiness is key. In this article, we will explore the habits and behaviors that may no longer serve us at the age of 75, offering insight into how to make adjustments that promote vitality, peace, and longevity. The wisdom of time. Reflections from my 90-year-old grandmother life has an uncanny way of slipping through our fingers, often leaving us feeling as though we are caught in a whirlwind of endless tasks, obligations, and fleeting moments. Days blend together, each one filled with responsibilities that never seem to end. The more we chase after time, the more it eludes us, leaving us with a constant sense of rushing, of being out of sync with the world around us. We often find ourselves in a constant state of motion. Yet, in the stillness of reflection, we wonder if we've missed the things that truly matter. This feeling of rushing through life, missing the present moment, and yearning for a deeper sense of peace is something that many of us can relate to. We're living in an age where speed and productivity are revered, where checking off tasks on a never-ending to-do list has become the ultimate measure of success. Yet, in this fast-paced world, there is a profound wisdom that can teach us the value of slowing down, of pausing to appreciate the beauty in the mundane, and finding a sense of calm amidst the chaos. My journey to understanding this wisdom began during a visit to my grandmother, a woman who has witnessed nearly a century of life's ups and downs. Now 90 years old, her body may have aged and become frail, but her spirit is as vibrant and insightful as ever. Throughout her long life, she has weathered storms, both literal and figurative, yet she carries herself with a sense of serenity and contentment that many of us strive to attain. A peaceful moment in time. On this particular visit, I found myself sitting beside her in her favorite armchair, gazing out of the window at the world she has watched evolve over the decades. The afternoon sunlight streamed through the window, casting a warm golden glow over her face. The trees in her garden swayed gently in the breeze, their leaves dancing to the rhythm of nature's heartbeat. The soft scent of jasmine mixed with the aroma of her tea, creating a harmonious symphony of sensory experiences that filled the air. In that moment, there was no sense of rushing. There was no pressure, no urgency to get somewhere or accomplish something. The world seemed to pause, if only for a brief while, and all that mattered was the stillness, the quiet connection between my grandmother and the peaceful world around her. I could sense the weight of her years in her every gesture, every word, and the way she sat in that chair, effortlessly attuned to the rhythm of life. There was no frantic movement, no sign of the stress or anxiety that often accompanies modern life. Instead, there was a profound sense of peace, a deep understanding that life's most valuable moments are not found in the hustle, but in the quiet pauses between breaths. As we sat together in silence, I couldn't help but be drawn to the serenity she exuded. I finally broke the silence, asking her a question that had been lingering in my mind for some time. "Grandma, what do you feel when you look at all of this? When you look out at the garden, the sunlight, the trees, what do you see?" The simple wisdom of slowing down. My grandmother's eyes sparkled as she turned her gaze toward me. In her look, I saw a lifetime of love, hardship, and profound understanding. She set her teacup down slowly, her hands trembling slightly with age, and smiled. "You know," she began, her voice soft yet steady, "when I was younger, I spent so much of my life rushing. I was always in a hurry. I had to raise a family, keep the house in order, and meet everyone's needs. I thought I had to do everything, to be everything for everyone. I was constantly running from one thing to the next, never taking a moment to just stop." She paused, her eyes drifting back to the garden as though searching for something in the past, something she had once known but now viewed with a new perspective. The golden sunlight seemed to shine a little brighter as she continued. But now, after all these years, I see things differently. The happiest moments of my life weren't in the rushing. They were in the times I stopped, the moments when I simply sat, looked around, listened to the world, and just loved. I realized that all the good things in life happen when you stop chasing and start being. Slowing down is where the beauty of life reveals itself. Her words struck me like an arrow of truth, piercing through the rush of thoughts in my mind and creating an immediate shift in how I saw the world around me. How many times had I rushed through life, missing the very things that could have brought me joy? How many moments had I let slip by, consumed by the demands of the day? Her wisdom was like a gentle, loving nudge, reminding me that life isn't about the speed at which we accomplish things, but about the depth with which we experience them. Life's hidden treasures, the value of slowing down. In the midst of our fast-paced world, it's easy to forget that life's true treasures are often found in the most ordinary moments. We live in a culture that values productivity above all else, where being busy is equated with being successful. We're constantly urged to do more, be more, achieve more. But in the process, we often miss the simple joys that make life worth living. My grandmother's first lesson was clear: slow down. It's not about achieving less, but experiencing more. When we slow down, we become present. We open our eyes to the small wonders that are often overshadowed by the noise of the world. The gentle rustle of leaves in the wind, the warmth of sunlight on our skin, the quiet sound of our own breath. All these things can be sources of peace and joy if we allow ourselves the space to notice them. She shared with me an exercise, one that has become a part of my daily practice. Imagine it's early in the morning, she said. Instead of rushing to grab your phone or diving straight into your responsibilities, take a moment to sit. Sit by the window with a warm cup of tea in your hands. Feel the warmth of the cup, inhale the soothing aroma, and take a sip. Notice the way the light shifts as the day begins. In that moment, you're not thinking about yesterday's worries or tomorrow's uncertainties. You're simply present. This is mindfulness. It is a practice that has been central to Buddhist philosophy for centuries. When we slow down, we step into the present moment, and that's when life's true beauty begins to unfold. We see the world in sharper focus, feel more deeply, and perhaps most importantly, begin to understand that our happiness doesn't lie in what we do or achieve, but in how we experience the moments we live. The magic of simplicity, finding joy in the ordinary. One of the most profound lessons my grandmother imparted to me was her ability to find joy in the simplest of things. In a world obsessed with success and accumulation, it's easy to overlook the quiet magic of life's small moments. Yet it is in these moments that true contentment resides. There are times when the world feels overwhelming, she told me. When everything seems too much to bear, I retreat to my garden. There, I simply sit and watch the sunlight filtering through the leaves, creating patterns that dance across the earth. I listen to the birds. Their songs, though different, harmonize together in a way that feels like they're singing just for me. In those moments, I feel something deeper than happiness. I feel a sense of peace. These words resonated with me on a profound level. In our daily lives, we often chase after big milestones, thinking that happiness lies in reaching some distant goal or acquiring something new. But my grandmother's wisdom reminded me that happiness is often found in the smallest, most ordinary things. A bird's song, the warmth of the sun on our face, the smell of fresh flowers, these are the things that bring us back to the present moment and remind us of the beauty of life. The weight we carry and its effect on our lives. Imagine that heavy suitcase. You've been carrying it for so long that you don't even notice the toll it takes on your every step. Each brick represents a moment, a memory, or a person you refuse to forgive. Every time you drag it behind you, it slows you down, making it more difficult to move forward. The suitcase may start off light enough, but over time it becomes a burden, and the weight increases with every passing year, every unresolved issue. It's a mental and emotional weight that affects your health, your relationships, and your ability to enjoy the present moment. My grandmother had spent a large part of her early life carrying this suitcase. She had experienced betrayal, loss, and heartbreak. There were things she wished she could have done differently, choices she regretted, and people she had lost due to misunderstandings. These were the bricks in her suitcase. But over time, she began to realize that carrying this emotional baggage was not helping her. It wasn't making her stronger or wiser. In fact, it was preventing her from living her life fully. Letting go. The path to liberation. The idea of letting go can be challenging, especially when the wounds run deep. But my grandmother taught me that releasing the weight of the past is not an act of weakness or forgetfulness. It is instead an act of liberation. Letting go does not mean erasing the memories of pain or pretending that the past didn't happen. It means acknowledging the pain, learning from it, and then releasing its grip on you. It is the ultimate form of self-care, as it allows you to reclaim your emotional freedom and take back your power. Buddhism, which has deeply influenced my grandmother's perspective, offers a profound teaching on this subject. In Buddhist philosophy, letting go is a path to enlightenment and inner peace. It is the recognition that attachment, whether to people, possessions, or experiences, causes suffering. The Buddha taught that everything is impermanent, and to hold on to things that have already passed only brings pain. True peace comes when we accept that life is ever-changing and that the only way to find true freedom is to release the things we cannot change. Letting go is an essential part of the Buddhist practice of mindfulness. It is the practice of staying present in the moment, free from the attachments of the past and the anxieties of the future. When we cling to our emotional baggage, we are not fully present. We are stuck in a cycle of regret or resentment, and that prevents us from experiencing life as it is, beautiful, fleeting, and precious. The process of letting go. Facing the past and finding freedom. The journey of letting go begins with acknowledging what you are holding on to. What are the things that continue to haunt your thoughts, even when you're not actively thinking about them? Is it a betrayal that cut deep, a failed relationship, a lost opportunity, or the weight of unmet expectations? These emotional burdens often take up more space in our minds than they deserve. We let them shape our self-image and determine our mood, even when we don't realize it. My grandmother taught me that the first step in letting go is to face the pain. This might sound daunting, but it's important to understand that avoiding the hurt only prolongs the suffering. There is immense power in confronting your emotions, allowing yourself to feel them, and then deciding not to let them control your life any longer. It's a courageous act to face what we would rather forget, but it is also a transformative one. Once you allow yourself to truly feel the pain and understand its origin, you can begin the process of releasing it. This doesn't mean forgetting the lessons that came from the pain. In fact, the lessons are often the most valuable gifts we can receive from our struggles. It's about recognizing that the pain no longer serves you, and by holding on to it, you're keeping yourself from experiencing the fullness of life. The second step in the process of letting go is forgiveness. Forgiveness does not necessarily mean condoning the hurtful actions of others. Instead, it is a personal decision to release the negative feelings associated with that hurt. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, not the person who wronged you. When you forgive, you stop allowing the past to control your emotional state. You free yourself from the prison of resentment and open yourself up to new experiences and relationships. Visualizing freedom, a powerful tool for letting go. One of the most helpful practices my grandmother shared with me was to visualize letting go. She suggested I imagine the emotional baggage I carried as a suitcase and then visualize myself putting it down. Every time I thought about a past hurt, I was to picture myself gently placing that suitcase on the ground, leaving it behind. Each time I did this, I would feel lighter, freer, and more capable of moving forward. This practice of visualization is a powerful tool for releasing attachment and emotional pain. It allows you to physically and emotionally let go of the things that are no longer serving you. Over time, this practice can become a part of your daily routine, helping you to continually release the weight of the past and embrace the beauty of the present moment. The freedom found in letting go. My grandmother lived by this principle. She let go of arguments she couldn't win, relationships that had come to an end, and even the painful memories that haunted her in her younger years. She didn't erase them from her mind, but she stopped allowing them to define her. Instead, she carried the lessons they had taught her and used them to guide her future decisions. She no longer carried the emotional baggage of her past. Instead, she carried the wisdom of her experiences. It was through her example that I began to understand that letting go is not just about relinquishing negative emotions. It is about making room for growth, peace, and joy. By letting go of the things that hold us back, we open ourselves to new opportunities, new relationships, and a deeper connection to the present moment. A life without the weight of the past. Imagine what your life could be like if you were to let go of the emotional burdens you've been carrying for so long. What if you no longer allowed past regrets or hurts to dictate your future? What if you could move through life with a lightness in your heart, open to the beauty and possibilities that each new day brings? This is the gift that my grandmother gave me through her wisdom, a life unburdened by the weight of the past, a life that embraces the present moment with open arms. Letting go isn't an easy task. It requires courage, self-compassion, and the willingness to confront the past. But it is also a deeply transformative journey, one that leads to freedom and inner peace. It's the act of releasing what no longer serves you and choosing to live fully in the present. By letting go, you can begin to build the life you've always dreamed of, a life full of joy, peace, and the freedom to be yourself. The practice of gratitude. As the day draws to a close, there is a profound invitation to pause, to reflect, and to cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is more than just an act of acknowledgement. It is a conscious practice that roots us in the present moment and helps us see the world through a lens of abundance rather than lack. Gratitude is not reserved for the grand, life-altering moments. In fact, it is often the smallest, most seemingly ordinary moments that carry the deepest significance. Perhaps it is the simple joy of a warm cup of tea shared with a loved one, or the quiet, comforting presence of a pet who offers unconditional affection. These moments may appear small on the surface, but they are profound in their ability to ground us in the present moment and remind us of the beauty that exists in our daily lives. One of the most valuable lessons I learned from my grandmother was the transformative power of gratitude. She once shared with me that when she took the time to give thanks for the gifts of the day, it felt as though her soul was wrapped in a soft, glowing warmth. This warmth was not a fleeting feeling, but a deep, nourishing presence that anchored her to the present, offering peace even in the midst of life's challenges. The healing power of gratitude. Gratitude has the incredible power to heal. It acts like a gentle balm, soothing the ache of worry, fear, and sorrow. It reminds us that even in the face of difficulty, there is beauty to be found. Gratitude does not deny our pain, but instead invites us to see beyond it, to discover the silver lining that often remains hidden in the shadows of our suffering. There are days when life feels heavy and the weight of uncertainty presses on our hearts. In those moments, gratitude can serve as a lifeline, offering a glimpse of hope and reminding us that no matter how challenging things may seem, there is always something worth holding on to. The beauty of gratitude lies in its ability to transform even the smallest moments into something extraordinary. When we take the time to reflect on the day's blessings, we begin to see the richness of our lives, even in the most ordinary of moments. The laughter shared with a friend, the kindness of a stranger, the beauty of a sunset. These are the gifts that life offers us, and they are often the ones that hold the most meaning. By practicing gratitude regularly, we train our hearts and minds to focus on what is positive in our lives, rather than dwelling on what is wrong or what is missing. This shift in perspective has the power to transform our experience of life, infusing even the most mundane moments with joy, peace, and contentment. Gratitude as a daily practice. Gratitude is not a fleeting feeling, but a way of life, a practice that we cultivate over time. It is a daily ritual that grounds us in the present and connects us to the richness of our lives. Each evening, as the day comes to an end, take a moment to pause and reflect on the gifts that the day has offered. Allow your thoughts to wander to 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. These reflections need not be grand or life-changing. Often it is the simplest things that carry the deepest meaning. It may be the comforting aroma of a meal prepared with love, the unwavering support of a friend, or the stillness of your home as you unwind after a long day. These moments, when acknowledged and appreciated, begin to weave a tapestry of abundance that colors our lives with warmth and beauty. By practicing gratitude, we create space for joy and peace to enter our hearts. We begin to see the world through a lens of abundance, where even the smallest flickers of light can shine brightly. Gratitude helps us embrace the present moment, recognizing that no matter how imperfect life may seem, there is always something to be grateful for. Inner silence, the gateway to true peace. The 5th and most important piece of advice is to find time for inner silence. My grandmother, a woman whose wisdom seemed to grow deeper with every passing year, once shared a profound truth with me. Silence is not emptiness. It's the moment when you hear yourself, your true self. She spoke of silence as if it were a dear friend, one who patiently waits for us to notice it and embrace its comforting embrace. She believed that in the quiet moments of life, when the noise of the world fades into the background, we can finally hear the whispers of our hearts, the truths we often overlook in the rush of daily life. In her wisdom, she encouraged me to set aside time each day to simply be still. Whether in the early morning or the peaceful quiet of the evening, she suggested that we take the time to sit with ourselves and listen. Silence is not an absence of sound, but a presence, one that holds space for reflection, introspection, and connection. In silence, we find clarity and insight that may elude us in the busyness of the day. It is in these quiet moments that we come to understand ourselves more deeply, recognizing the wisdom that resides within us all. The power of silence in a noisy world. We live in an age where rushing has become the norm, where the measure of success is often tied to how much we accomplish and how quickly we can do it. From a young age, we are taught that busyness equals productivity, that the more we do, the more we are valued. But this constant striving often leaves us feeling drained, unfulfilled, and disconnected from our true selves. The wisdom of silence offers an antidote to this relentless pace. True peace, my grandmother reminded me, is not something we acquire from external sources. It is not found in material possessions, accolades, or the approval of others. True peace resides within us, beneath layers of distraction and noise, waiting to be uncovered when we surrender to silence. Silence is where we reconnect with our essence, where we rediscover the joy of simply being. In the stillness, we let go of the need for external validation and recognize that happiness is not something we pursue, but something we already carry within us. When we learn to embrace silence, we release the pressure to do more, be more, and achieve more. We begin to live at a pace that feels natural and aligned with our own rhythms. Embracing silence for true peace. Silence is not empty. It is full of possibility, full of wisdom. It is where we find peace, freedom, and clarity. It is the space where we reconnect with our true selves and remember that we are enough, just as we are. Embracing silence is a powerful practice, one that allows us to step away from the noise of the world and listen to the quiet wisdom that resides within us all. As we come to the end of this journey into the power of inner silence and the wisdom it brings, I invite you to reflect on what resonated with you the most. Was it the idea that peace is found within, or the reminder that silence holds the key to true happiness? I encourage you to take this wisdom into your life starting today. Create a space for silence, for stillness, and for self-reflection. Let it guide you back to yourself, helping you reconnect with the peace that resides within you. Life is a journey, and when we practice gratitude, embrace silence, and let go of what no longer serves us, we move closer to living a life that is filled with wisdom, peace, and fulfillment.